I'm just kind of give a little bit of an overview of kind of my experiences of I'll give a bit of an overview of myself as well. I am a student in DCU, second year engineering now. With I have ADHD and autism, and I also have narcolepsy, a sleep disorder, which is characterized by excessive daytime sleepiness. Um, one of the hardest things with narcolepsy is even though people are kind of understanding when I mention it, I'm always very nervous about I never want to be the lazy person falling asleep in class because always is lazy people falling asleep in class, like people who don't care about, well, I mean, but then they might have things going on as well, so I can't be judgmental on that. But I never want to be kind of seen as that person. I don't think anyone ever does see people like that, but you're always more critical of yourself. Um, it other things, where am I at? So yeah, that's kind of narcolepsy. I was very lucky in secondary school with the support I got from my leaving cert. I typed my leaving cert, and that's probably I don't use that much in terms of assistive technology, but being able to type is an absolute game changer. I've been typing since start secondary school, and it's really, really helpful. And I'd highly recommend anyone who is typing to look into kind of learning how to touch type. Um, when I moved into Cost they I moved did a PLC before I started in DCU. I highly recommend PLCs in the UTB. They're fantastic because I find that the Leaving Cert, especially for people with any additional needs, doesn't prepare you properly for university. It leaves a lot of gaps in terms of kind of even just like say, for example, how to write a report. I didn't know how to write a report when leaving my secondary school and going to Cost. But going to class, I'm going to use the phrase bridging the gap again. Class to do is kind of bridge that gap between secondary school and higher education without it being like kind of an overload of stuff, kind of just broke it up into 2 years. The the hard thing going to Class to DCU, one of the things is that it was a lot more big, a lot way bigger. As in, like there was a specific in Class there was one person who was basically the disability department, not disability and services. In DCU, there was a whole office space for it, and sometimes it can feel a little bit intimidating asking for help. I found, but once you get to know them, it's the exact same thing. I've all the way throughout Collegiate and in DCU, I was part of the Students with Disabilities Advisory Group, and being able to advocate for others made it a lot easier to advocate for myself because you get to know other people, you get to meet other people in similar situations to yourself and in completely different situations to yourself, which in turn also make it easier to understand your own situation. That um that's something I've kind of I look back in terms of especially ADHD. If you kind of it's very difficult to be kind to yourself. I find in especially say when I fall asleep in a lecture, I'll kind of be thinking to myself, why did I let that happen? Why did I fall asleep? I No one ever tells me that I'm the lazy person falling asleep in class, but I find myself telling myself that, but no one else ever says that or feels that, which is probably the hardest part because you have to be able to tell yourself that you can't control. Even the amount of supports that you have, you can't control everything. And just being able to be kind of kind to yourself, give yourself a little pat on the back goes a long way. Being in students with disabilities advisory group and in Costa and DCU and seeing how effortless it was for say if I needed a quiet room for having a rest with narcolepsy. Being able to I asked if oh can I have this accommodation? Oh yeah, sure, no problem. And being able to experience what it's like to have people react in that positive manner is an absolute game changer. Well, I am not used to speaking on a Zoom call with no people. Um, So it's another thing is that I'm completely lost here. Um, Another thing about advocating for students and this with disability and stuff, well, especially with the advisory group, is you become better at advocating for yourself. I might have already touched on that a little bit, but it's always easier to advocate for others, in my experience, because it's not a personal, it's not something that you feel nervous about yourself because it's someone else's problems that you're just able to discuss. But if you're looking into yourself, you might see all the problems, but you might kind of, it's very difficult to separate whether it's your disability or it's kind of stuff that you're doing. So, like, say, if I find it difficult to know whether I'm tired because I didn't sleep well, or am I tired because I have narcolepsy? It might be the same as someone who has a I know who was I don't remember what the specific physical disability was, but it was to do with fatigue in the muscles. And the person wasn't able to tell, am I just tired or am I tired because I'm intensely fatigued here? And being able to just kind of cut yourself a little bit of slack is probably the biggest boundary I've had. It's not been, I know other people have had other boundaries with lecturers and stuff. My lecturers have all been really good. And about most of the time, I told the lecturers before I told the disability service to tell my lecturers because I find it easier to explain it in my own manner. And being able to explain your disability yourself goes a long, long way because what might be on a sheet of paper can never be explained in the exact way that you want to explain it yourself. Um, Another thing is that when you have a disability or an additional need, kind of succeeding in third level isn't about necessarily just passing your course and getting through it. Like if you try a course and say, let's pretend you were doing medicine and you realize that you just can't do it. Like it's good you gave it a try, but it's not for you, or there might be specific boundaries that while you've done everything you could, you've looked for supports, just you find you can't do it, which is okay. Sometimes you can't. And it's okay to just understand that. Then what you could do is go and see something else you can do. There's always something available. Because I've heard of a lot of stories where people who've left courses and gone and done something else and never seen. I have a friend who went and did a course in, I think it was something to do with trees. He was very interested in trees. He wanted to go to quilture. And it wasn't for him. He didn't really like the way it worked and the people there. He took the rest of the year off. I think he did a once a week gardening course, if I remember correctly. But then now he's studying architecture. So I don't know where that comes into trees. I suppose wood and building things, but it just shows that anything can happen. And this has gone all over the place. I don't. Anyway, I think that might be kind of me.